Hello all, welcome to this video. This video is about building your first mini application using the Microsoft PowerApps framework. So as we have discussed in the previous classes, Microsoft PowerApps is a low-code platform where you can write simple applications and then integrate it to your cloud and local databases. We will, in this step-by-step guide, use Excel in a cloud-based Excel file as the data store. And this video is made for the Bachelor's of Business Administration first year degree students. And the course title is Introduction to Relational Databases. Feel free to contact me in case there's some problem and I'll work with you to solve this. So the problem statement of on top of which this app is going to be built is the Nanjing resident driving license application problem that we have discussed in class quite a few times. The basic idea is if you're aged above 18 in Nanjing, you can apply for a driver's license, but to apply you need to fill a form which contains name, citizen ID, phone and age. And based on this, there's some criteria for checking the age, and based on this, the application moves to the next stage. So we take this small problem statement and break it down at the first level, collect the verbs, collect the nouns, and aggregate the data points as we discussed in the previous classes. And then using the Microsoft platform today, you'll learn how to build a prototype on paper to collect input and store this information that's collected onto a Excel file. Of course, this is a database course and we have learned that Excel is a file and file handling has several problems. But since this is your first application, this is going to be super easy to learn with the file. And then we will also start playing around and seeing in real time what are the problems of using a file instead of a database. And then we'll build the same application, rebuild the same application using an RDBMS, that is MySQL. And we will use the connectors to run the MySQL on your local computer and try to push the data online, pull and push data. So that's the basic outline. So this is how the overall input process, storage and output looks like. We don't have to worry about the process. We don't have to worry about the output. In this app, we will just worry about how to collect information and how to store information. The paper prototype looks something like this. The home screen has apply and view data. And then once you click on the apply button, it goes to the application form, which is modeled exactly on top of our problem statement. And once you click on apply, the data is stored into the storage, which is an Excel file on the cloud. And once you look at the view screen button, right? The view screen button shows the data that you've just stored, okay? So let's look at the steps of converting this paper prototype to a micro application. So these are the 7 steps on top of which these are built. Let me just show you step by step on how to build this. You can just slow the video down and pause it and kind of try to build it with me. seen all the steps. What we have achieved is take our paper prototype and we have converted it effectively into a micro application using the PowerApps platform. So as you just saw, when we actually use the Excel file, we need to close the Excel file first before we run the app. So there's some synchronization issues. Other than this, there are several other issues that we discussed from a theoretical standpoint in our week 1, chapter 1. Now we will look at all these problems by playing around with this Excel file, and we will try to visualize the problems one by one. And once we are done with that, we will build a database to exactly store the same information and connect the same app to the database instead of the Excel file. Once we do that, we will see the difference and how these problems are solved one by one in the class. Okay, to connect it to the database, we need a technology stack. So the technology stack that we need requires the MySQL database itself and the graphical user interface, which is the MySQL workbench. Of course, we already registered to the PowerApps and build our first application, so we have this. So let me run you through the steps one by one in the next video towards installation and so on. The idea here is once we get the installation and testing done of how to connect the database, what we will plan to do is use this data flow diagram that we designed in class earlier as a reference and start pushing and pulling data from the MySQL database into and outside the MySQL database. We will replicate exactly this, and we will visualize the difference between file handling that uses our Excel file on the cloud database and a database management system where the database is stored locally. Of course, please feel free to contact me or the teaching assistant in case there is any issue during the configuration process, and more than happy to help you. Also, make sure you take care about the school's epidemic prevention work. Please make sure. Thank you. See you in the next video.